Welcome back, everybody, to It's Not Me, It's Absolutely You. I'm still here. I'm still in Las Vegas. Yeah, I know. But that was the whole plan. It was to stay for a while. Actually, I'm leaving on Monday, and I could use another week, to be perfectly honest. I've been here for 16 days, plus the 3 before the show. The 2 before the show, actually. And I thought it would be enough. And it kind of is, in ways. But I think I still need some time to see everything. I haven't seen everything I need to see. I've seen a lot of stuff, though. And I've been getting around town. I've been going to all the clubs, meeting people, going out to restaurants a lot, and just living here in the hotel. They're starting to recognize me now. I know some of their names, and I don't know. I haven't done a lot of the things that the tourists do. And that's what I wanted to do, those things. Because I like tourist things. I like going through the casinos and looking at all the stores and walking around. You know, but my friends are all from here. They're like, oh, you don't want to do that stuff. You want to do the stuff the locals do. You don't want to go to the Strip. They just don't want to go to the Strip. And they're probably tired of bringing people there because every time somebody comes to town, that's what they got to do. So I thought it would be interesting to do what they want and go to these weird places. And I did that. And I went to a couple of the, you know, the main casinos. But I didn't see enough of it. And I kind of regret that. I wish I would have seen a little more of that stuff. I like going to pools and eating Chinese food and going to the crazy stores and looking at all the stuff. People from out of town. They don't want to do that, though. You gotta go to the dive bar. It's dark. This is where you're respected when you come here. Otherwise, you're just gonna look like an idiot. I don't know. I wanted to stay at the Killer Hotel. But I do what I can do. I noticed I see a lot of the same girls in the hotel in the same places, like sitting in front of the same slot machine. And then I'd always see them, they're sort of with someone, but he's not. He's in and out. And then I just realize what's going on here. And it's like clockwork, all right? She's a hooker, and that's her pimp, right? But they don't look like how I would think a pimp would look. You know, I was expecting a purple velour suit, maybe a boa, a top hat, or at least like a lion's ring. None of that. This guy looked like someone at the mall, like, you know, at the Adidas store. But I don't know if she's like busy a lot. I mean, she's been here like every night. And there's another one too. They both walk around like they're hot shit. I'm not even into it. But they must be doing okay. I just can't see that nobody would catch on to that. I mean, if I noticed, I've only been here a short time. They got to know. The security guards, who are really fat and out of shape. If I had to outrun one of them, he could have a head start with his Pumas and the best athletic support and everything, and I'll still beat him. There's no way. Anyways, I've been getting around and checking things out and, you know, considering moving out here. And I only have a few more days left of my trip. And went to the pool the other day at Caesar's Palace with a few of my friends. Jason and Jen Walker, they took me over there, got us in. They know some people. And we got one of those huge, like, bed type terry cloth. You can, you know, sit on that, and then behind it they have the cabanas. There are really a lot to rent those, but you know, it's Vegas. It's who you know. So we had the opportunity to hang out in those, which would have cost way too much money. And it was nice. It was really hot. I burned my feet a little bit. The ground gets super hot, and I didn't bring my flip-flops. I don't actually own a pair of flip-flops, but I can see where those totally would come in handy in a pool situation. And, you know, it was a good time. We had a drink. I don't know if it's so hot out that when you're drinking and you're in the sun, it's not that it's not fun. It's like you really get, like, dizzy. And I was also a little weak from dieting, though. And just being out in the sun every day. So I walked around and looked at everything. It's really cool in there. A lot of neat statues. A lot of them were uncircumcised, but that was because it was, back in Rome, back in the day. And that's how they rolled. But it was fun. And then we came back, and I went back to the hotel. I'm always coming back and forth to the hotel. I can't get away from this place. And then I locked myself out of the room in my underwear. And I had to have the woman who was cleaning down the hall come and open that for me. She smiled a lot. She made a lot of eye contact. She knew not to look where she shouldn't. Although, I didn't want her to feel like I was above her or anything. And I was kind of attracted to her. And she had a nice personality. I don't think she understood English, but she was definitely on my side. And she helped me. And then I went out to had some lunch the next day with Ryan Johnson and Tim Glass over at Rebel Tickets. They're a sponsor. Of course, they only sponsor me in meat lasagna and rigatoni bolognese, but nonetheless a sponsor. So that's Rebel Tickets here in Las Vegas for all your ticket needs. They will get you in the shows for a nominal fee. Hard workers, these guys. They're working all day. And they're in there just selling Celine Dion tickets, and all over the country they're selling stuff. And I don't think they sold too many enough tickets, but Celine Dion for sure. So they took me out to lunch, and I couldn't get into the restaurant because I was wearing a tank top. And they said, you can't come in here with that t-shirt on. It was a wife beater. It's very ironic because I seen some people in there that looked like they were beating their wives earlier, sitting in fine dining. I didn't know we were going somewhere fancy. It's like 200 degrees out, and it was a last minute thing. And I see a lot of people wearing, cutoffs and tank tops, and this new thing with girl shorts where they cut them really, really short, so part of their butt sticks out on the bottom. It's kind of hot. I get it, but it just it seems like a little provocative to be walking around like that. And then if you look at them, then they're like, what are you looking at? So I just have to just glance and then keep walking. Then we couldn't get in there, so we just jumped back in the Escalade, because that's how Ryan Johnson rolls. And we went to this Italian restaurant, and they didn't have any problems with it. And probably because usually when they get home after the work, they put one on and beat their wife. No, you can't hit them anymore. So went there. Next day, I believe, Cheap Trick and Peter Frampton at the Joint in the Hard Rock. And that was good. We got in backstage. Actually, Ryan Johnson got me some comps, but I gave them to my two friends. And then I went in with Mike Zuder, who had the hookup for the meet and greet. And I got to go in there and meet them all. And I think I've never seen a Cheap Trick show live before, which was really weird when I thought about it, because they're one of my favorite bands, and I just never really saw them live, I guess. And I know some people parallel that band a little bit to Enough's Enough, because, song structures and just the type of music, the power pop, whole thing. So they were all taking pictures and hanging out and meeting everybody, and I didn't really say much because I don't know what to say. He was just meeting the people that paid for this stuff, and I just felt like I was in there illegally. And then I finally broke into this. We were talking about Chicago, and I told him, hey, I'm from Chicago. He's like, oh, really? What parts? And I was like talking to Rick Nielsen, and I go, actually, I'm in Enough's Enough. And he goes, I'm sorry. And he was probably half kidding, but he was funny. And then he said, well, tell Chip I said hello, I guess. Which was funnier. And I just kind of like shook his hand and laughed a little bit. And then we went out there and watched them, and they were great. It was really good. It sounded good. And I had a good time. It wasn't too loud. We had seats right in the front, well, in the middle, like by the soundboard. So it was a good, good mix. And I was really tired after that because we had some beers, and the guy that helped us all get in, he was really nice.
I guess they got a horse. It's called Dream Police, and it won a race. So they framed it, and they brought them all photos and framed pictures. So they've got some money. All I can think of how horrific it would be if they would have brought the actual horse's head, like in The Godfather. But they were all pretty happy to see the photos and the framed, signed. They got it all signed and everything. And good for them. They got a winner there, that horse.
And they bought us some drinks. And I just went back to the hotel and actually went to bed. I just didn't have anything else to do. I walked around. Every time I come home from going out, I do once around the casino. And this place, it gets crazier at that time. There's people in the lobby screaming and hookers. So anyways, the next day was a really good day. It was my date with Phil Lewis. We had a great time. Phil is such a gentleman, and I like him a lot. He picked me up. It's got a BMW, the two-seater.
It's a little roadster. It's super fast. It's great.
5-speed, the leather seats. He had the top down, and I didn't know what to wear. I was going to wear, like, black pants and the boots kind of thing, like, what's up? Rock and roll. Because I figured he'd be dressed like that. And I would just, maybe I don't want to go in shorts and look like an idiot. So I put these like tight pants on and stupid shoes, and I had my belt on and everything, like a tank top. And he rolls up and he's, in his shorts and a ripped up shirt with chains and looking like you're supposed to when you're going to be driving around and it's 98 degrees or 198, whatever one it was. So he picked me up.
And we eventually found the restaurant we were looking for, the Samu Barbecue.
In Chinatown, where his preference there was duck over rice. And I'm not I don't eat duck a lot. Every time I see a duck, it's on my driveway or in the front lawn.
And it usually has an attitude with me.
But now I know that if I want to eat it, it's all I got to do is break out the tennis racket. Well, this duck was succulent. The ducks I see in my neighborhood look like they got a problem. But this duck was succulent because, they nurture them and hang them upside down and, roast them for a while. They get real soft. And like I said, I don't really eat duck.
But when he had finished his, he so nimbly went through the duck that it was like a surgeon.
Because there's bones and there's fat and stuff like that. His plate looked clean. I don't even know where the bones went. I mean, he didn't eat them. Maybe he arranged them on the side or something. So my duck, when I was done, looked like somebody that was wearing grill gloves and a helmet ate it.
It was a massacre. There was food everywhere.
But it was good, and I got what I needed out of it. And then we went for an awesome ride through Red Rock. He took me all the way out. And there's mountains up there, right? And you go for the 13-mile cruise. And you pay it's like $4 he paid. It was a great date. And we just drove through the mountains, talked a little bit. Sometimes we didn't talk at all. Sometimes we just looked away from each other. We said words like beautiful and splendid. And do you think that's a person down there by that cactus? This would be a good place to hide a body.
Actually, those last two were from me.
He smiled and laughed. So we drove through the mountains, and it was super hot. Like, it was getting to the point to where I was sort of getting dizzy. But I'm the one who said, leave the top down. I want the full experience. And he's kind of a little more used to it because he lives out here. We drove around the mountains, came back through to the bottom. Oh, I can hear people in the next room. They always try to open that door. You know that connecting door between two rooms? It's not a closet, ding-dong. That's why I'm kind of talking softer. Once I get back home, I'll be able to speak a little more normally. Volume-wise. But I'm trying to keep it down because if they want to hear this podcast, they'll have to just find it online. People trying to open that middle door, and they keep trying. Or maybe they're just pulling out one of their teeth, the string. Anyways, we were in the mountains, came back down, and then we went to Phil's house. He drove me over there. We kind of hung out. We were just talking and stuff. And I wanted to stay. He showed me the house. It was awesome. Loved walking around there. It was totally cool. We were talking the whole time, just chatting it up, rapping, making fun of people and smiling. And then I got a call from Mike Zuder that said, hey, I can use you on a gig tomorrow. And I need you to meet these people from Song Division tonight because they want to check you out. Make sure, they're not going to wreck anything. They want to meet you. I'm like, yeah, because these guys it's a pretty big company. And I'm on vacation. And I'm not really prepared, but I didn't know what it was. So basically, I had to be the MC of a lip sync battle. And it was at the Cabo Wabo in Planet Hollywood. Which, by the way, that hotel, now that's a hotel, okay? Where I'm at right now, it's not when you walk into that place, it smells like, clean and fruit. And it just has like a feeling like something's going on. You walk into my hotel, and it's a different smell. It's not bad. It's just more cigarettes. And maybe a little urine. And people screaming. It's a big difference. Although, like I said, I'm not trying to rip on the hotel. I'm comfortable here. It's just, when you compare it to those other hotels, it's just not, you can't. You can get lost in those hotels. You can just keep walking, and there's all these stores and watch stores and a lot of watch and luggage stores, which, I mean, if you come here, you already have a watch and luggage. You can buy more of that. Put the stuff you got inside the other luggage. I don't know. So I meet with them. They came to my hotel, which is totally awesome because they had to get this together quick because it was a last minute thing and there was some kind of mix up on the date, so they were kind of stuck. And Zuder vouched for me, so I didn't want to let him down. I found out what I needed to do and got the basics, and then the next day I went and did that gig. Got a great parking spot. And I found a way to get from the parking spot, which was actually kind of far, through these like employee hallways, like underground. One of the girls was going in there and she turned me on to that, when I was kind of lost. I'm like, are we in Planet Hollywood? Let me show you something, hon. She took me through all these halls and it ended up like right there, which was great. So, I got there and did the gig, and it actually went really good. Everybody had a good time, and a couple people knew me there from Enough's Enough, and they asked what I was doing there. And when I told them, they were like, oh, this is going to be awesome. It was a lip sync battle contest. Evidently, I'm really good at emceeing those, and I think that might be a new thing for me. You don't have to bring any gear. You don't have to be in tune. All the harmonies, non-existent. You just kind of got to talk on the mic and get them through the contest and, what's coming next and play some tunes. And I kind of like it. Thought it was fun. So I did that gig, and then immediately after that, the whole company, since it was such a success and everybody was happy and everything, they took us out to dinner, like a group of us, to the Cosmopolitan. And now that's even a better hotel. I heard about the Cosmopolitan, but I just thought, oh, how good can it be? I know it's new. It's probably fine, new. but some of these other ones are so extravagant, you know. But this one was really cool. I mean, it's very modern and hip and just fancy. And I think the better the hotel, the better looking the people. My hotel, a lot of missing teeth. Okay. But so the Cosmopolitan was great, and we were drinking. I'm not a huge drinker, but I drink a lot. And they kept bringing out sushi and big, like a whole boat of it. And there were desserts, shots. And then I drove them back to my car because we walked, because you can walk from the one to the other. From Planet Hollywood to the Cosmopolitan, you could walk over there. It's close. And I just, you know, drove back to my car, and then they went home, and I drove myself home, and I went to bed again. Yeah, I'm the weirdo walking around the hotel by himself. Everybody else is here with somebody, or they're looking for somebody, or they're gambling. Me, I'm that one weird guy that you just see walking around, smiling at the Asian girl behind the KENO table or whatever it's called. I don't know. I don't understand it. Any of these games. I tried to watch, but if you stare too long and you don't play, then they think you're like gonna do something. I don't know what's going on. They're yelling out numbers. There are people wait in line to play some of those games, and they're like some kind of like speed play. I don't know what's going on. And the weird part about it is, they look kind of crazy, and like I wouldn't expect them to know how to do anything, but they got this poker thing dialed in pretty good. So yeah, come back to the hotel, and then, you know, it's just weird when you get into an elevator with somebody and there's only one other person. It's just a little uncomfortable because they look at the numbers or they look down. Sometimes we'll just lock eyes, and I'll be like, "How you doing?" And then they'll either not say anything, which is horrible, or they're from another country and they'll just smile and they'll sort of talk, but then you'll get it that they don't understand you. Or maybe they're just you know, prostitutes, and they'll maybe roll their eyes and fix their hair, you know. And all I do is look at their fingernails, filthy, and I'm not into that. But I've been here so long that I've kind of learned how to work all the little intricacies of the elevator. Because you got to put your card in first, it flashes, then you got to hit the number. Some people just go in there and they hit the number and it won't work. So I feel like I'm obligated to help them when they're in there. Like you know, and someone did that to me earlier, and I was like, oh, what do you know? Think you know everything? But now I get it. It's like seeing somebody struggling. You want to like just help them out. And you know, usually that's not me, because you know how I feel about giving. But in this case, you know, you got to put your card in first. And if you don't hit the number quick enough, it'll go past it. And then you got to go back down and back up. But it's a real fast elevator, so it's no problem. So I've been helping people out with the elevator, and might have gave directions to a few people. They were asking where some other casino was. I know I keep saying hotel. They're casinos. I'm just not used to being in one. But I'm liking it. It's interesting. It's very interesting out here. And then I was up in the room and I couldn't sleep, and I went back down and I was walking around and I started talking to this guy, this crazy guy. He's evidently sells cocaine. He's told me the story of how, you know, he was approached by an undercover cop at one of the other hotels, and he knew what was going on because he's street smart, this guy. He's from Chicago, actually, ironically. And he said the undercover cop, you know, was like, hey, man, hey, so where's the cocaine? And I don't know if that's how you ask somebody that. And he said, it's in the evidence locker, Mr. Policeman. That's where it is. So he called him out on it, you know. He seemed like, you know, he was a nice guy. I don't know if I was going to invite him back to the room or anything to hang out, because there's a lot of things in here he could have killed me with, like the pillowcase or the lamp or his filthy hands. So, but we talked and he was good. And I think a lot of times when I'm real direct with people and I'll just talk to them straight. They don't know how to take it because, you know, I'm not very big, and, you know, when you see me coming, it's not like, you know, intimidating or anything. But if you really talk to someone right, and you really look at them the right way, they know that you're serious about, you know, what could happen. And he was nice. We talked a little bit. I learned a little more about how to sell cocaine. And then I just went back up to the room and I went to bed. Next morning I came down and there was a whole carload of UFC guys. They were all wearing their UFC shirts, their cauliflower ears. I never seen, it was like 10 people that had to get from the van to the lobby. And it was like a Marx Brothers movie. But, you know, they're here to fight. They're not here to do anything else. And they had their headphones on. They were in a zone. They were zoning, man. The two of them had to ask what floor 1403 was on. Mm-hmm. And then later on in the day, I saw Dana White walking right there in the lobby. People taking pictures. Hey, Dana, can I get a picture, man? It's like, sure, man. He was really cool. He looks just like he does in person. A little stockier in the neck region, the traps. But he seemed nice. I didn't want to go over there and say anything. I should have took a picture, you know, and selfied it or whatever. But, you know, But he was cool. I guess that's where they all stay, the Ultimate Fighters, because the owner of the station casinos, evidently, I was told, owns the UFC. And they train really close to here. So it was like a whole van load of them, and some of them had, like, you know, casts on their arms and those beads that they wear when they put them on around their wrist and around their neck, and it's like kind of like a version of a rosary bead, sort of. So they're praying and they're really, you know, grateful and really close to God right before they go into a ring and beat the shit out of each other. And then, you know, today I had to take that amp that Tracy Guns gave me, and I had to ship it, right? Because it's getting close to time here. I'm going to be leaving. I had to go find a box. Stupid Guitar Center. All they do is continually disappoint me. I went to the one store. The kid gave me a box for like a 78 key piano. It was huge. I'm like, I need a box for a Marshall-sized head. Well, this is all we got. And I looked back, there was a huge pile of boxes. You didn't even look. He gave me this huge box. I could barely fit it in the car. So then I'm like, I'm going to go to the other one. So I drove all the way across town and went to the other one. That guy was a dick. And he made me go through the dumpsters, which, by the way, had nothing in them. Nothing. So I looked in there. I'm like, nothing in here. He said there'd be some in here, or at least something I could use. And then I just drove back home, and it was getting late. Cowtown Guitars here in Las Vegas is a great place. It's like a vintage store, and they got amps and cool buckles and some clothes and pins. It's just a real cool place. And Roy, he was running the place over there. And Ruckus, remember Ruckus from that show, the tattoos, where they fix the tattoos. They go and they walk around the streets of Vegas and they meet people, and I can't think of the name of the show right now, which is horrible, but he works there. And I'm looking at him like I recognize this guy. And it was him from the show. And it's some of the guys from Pawn Stars and stuff like that, you know. So, a real cool place. And that's where I picked up Tracy Guns' amp originally when I had to take it to give it to him in LA. He made me pick it up over there and met those guys. And Roy over there said he'd help me find a box. Because like I said, Tracy gave me this other amp. But I just ended up using the piano box because I just wanted to get it over with. But he was really nice. He said, you know, I just want you to have this amp. You know, I got a couple more. I want you to have this one. So, wow. I'm like, what can I say? Thank you, man. I tried to give him, I had $30 left on my Starbucks card. I tried to give it to him. He wouldn't take it. He's like, no, it's not like that. I don't need anything back from you. I just want you to have the amp. So I gave him my tuner. And I think I got him an endorsement with Peterson tuners with my guy Joe over at Peterson. Hopefully it worked out, you know. It was like $70 to send the amp back to Chicago. And it takes about a week.
Because I had to get it home somehow. And Roy was going to help me out and find me a box for the amp.
And I didn't know about Saturday and Sunday as far as I'd be able to ship it, so I just
took the original box I had over to Scott Coogan's house,
who was a friend of mine, plays drums with Ace Frehley. We kind of grew up together. Used to be in bands with him back in the day. We lived together in Hollywood, and we were in that band Black Elvis together. And
you know, I've known Scott for a real long time. He actually lent me this microphone
and the stand, and he gave me a guitar to use while I'm here. So I got some of his stuff in here. So thanks for that, Scott Coogan. So I took this box over to his house and laid it down in his tile floor and took a box cutter and fabricated the box. So I cut like this section of the middle out, kind of like when they chop a car. Got it pretty good. Used a lot of tape. I just, you know, chopped that box up, taped it really good. And they had to leave like in 15 minutes. And he lived right across the street from the post office. That was the other reason I went. So I just got that thing together and I just went over to the post office and just made it in time. Mailed it to my house. So now I have an amp. Like I didn't even own an amp before that. Is that horrible? I've had amps in the past. I just didn't have one right now because we usually use backline or I just bring my pedals. So, yeah, I just shipped that out and then came back to the hotel, you know, back and forth. Drove around a little bit before that. I wanted to work on this second podcast, Las Vegas #2, for you people. Give you a little idea of what was going on out here on my trip. And I'm going to be going home. And I don't know what I'm going to do there because it's going to be like a big difference. Because right now, it's like every night you go out, it's warm, park anywhere. I'm going to go home. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to have to work on some stuff. And Farm Rock is coming up. Playing that in a couple, less than a week, right? This weekend. And that should be fun. And then after that, I don't know, there's some downtime and there's a couple shows here and there. But anyways, I just wanted to give everybody a little bit of an idea of what was happening out here in Las Vegas while I've been here. And I think tomorrow there's a Kiss party over at Vamped. Bunch of guys and a bunch of bands are going to play Kiss tunes. There'll hopefully be some drama there.
It's for charity.
And then Sunday is my last day. And then I'm back. Just a weird night for me. I went and got Thai food by myself. It's weird. They think I'm weird in there. And I just wanted to finish up the podcast. And when I get home, we'll do a new one. So thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you're enjoying these podcasts, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.